Hello everybody, I'm Dan. Welcome to my Java tutorial series. Throughout my tutorials I will teach you Java using just Notepad and the command prompt. The order in which my tutorials are organized on both my website at javacjava.com and my YouTube playlist is designed to maximize learning by building on concepts from prior tutorials. This tutorial is about the spliterator method in the ArrayList class. It's kind of fun to say that, spliterator. I'm going to go and open up my website, javacjava.com, and select Begin. And I'm going to scroll all the way down here when this loads up to the ArrayList spliterator method. So the spliterator method returns a spliterator object from the current ArrayList instance. So here's basically the declaration for the spliterator method. It takes no arguments, no parameters, accepts no parameters, and it returns back a spliterator object, right, of some particular type, containing some sort of particular object type. So what is a spliterator? Now the answer is that a spliterator is a far more advanced topic than where my tutorial series is thus far. I will be demonstrating how to use a spliterator in a future tutorial when I'm on the topic of multi-threading. Now, when you work with large amounts of data, you will strive to create the most efficient and speedy programs possible. Let's imagine that you have a custom class box with instance variables of length, height, and width, right? Pretty simple to imagine that. Now picture that you have an array list containing 5 billion box objects and you need to find out the average volumes of all boxes in the array list. Okay, well you can easily loop through each element calculating the volume of each box object, but that will take some time. Now the spliterator interface contains methods for splitting up your array list and running processes on multiple threads, which will significantly increase the speed of calculating average volume. Now with that being said, I really cannot demonstrate something like that scenario because many of the concepts are beyond the scope of this tutorial. However, I will demonstrate using a spliterator iterating on a single thread using the spliterator forEachRemaining method, which functions practically the same as the ArrayList forEach method. Now, if you haven't watched my ArrayList forEach method tutorial yet, I would highly recommend doing so. Okay, let's come down here and highlight the source code, Control-C to copy. I'm going to move my browser off screen. I've got a shortcut to the command prompt on my desktop, but if you don't, you can create one really fast by right-clicking, selecting New, Shortcut, CMD, Next, and Finish. It's just that easy. Okay, let's open that up, type in javac, which is a Java compiler command. You should see all this stuff scroll by. However, if you receive an error message, watch my tutorial on installing the Java Development Kit. You want to make sure you get that installed and configured properly before continuing. CLS to clear the screen, CD space /, CD is short for change directory, / tells it to go to the root. I'm going to make a directory called Java using the MD command. I already have that folder, but if you don't, it'll go ahead and create it for you. I'll make another directory here called ArrayList spliterator. Okay, CD and hit tab, change directories to the ArrayList spliterator folder, and I'm going to notepad ArrayList spliterator.java, right? ArrayList spliterator.java is going to be the name of my source code file, also known as a compilation unit. Control V to paste this stuff in here, or right click and select paste. Alright, so this is pretty simple here today, so I'll go over a few things here. I'm going to import the Java util package and the Java util function package. Java util, of course, for the ArrayList class, and the function for a consumer functional interface here. Okay. So single class, ArrayList spliterator, main method entry point, and I am just basically declaring this array list of type integer as int array, right, and setting it empty. I'm just using a simple for loop and invoking the add method to add all of the even numbers to this array list, 0 to 100, and of course autoboxing will turn these from primitives into, actual integer, uppercase integer types there. And then we'll display that to the console. So let's go ahead and run that at this point there. Let's clear our screen, Javac, hit tab. So we want to compile the Java file there, and Java to run this. Strip off the class. We want to invoke the ArrayList spliterator class there. All right, let's scroll up here to the top. And basically there, this line, we're displaying it to the console in array. That's what we've got in our array list right there, okay? So now in the next statement down here, what we've got is I'm declaring spliterator and integer, so we're matching up the types here, and then just a reference variable called mySpliterator and setting that equal to intArray and invoking the spliterator method, right? Now, of course, the spliterator method just returns back a brand new spliterator object there, okay? Which is basically going to be like a list too as well, spliterator list essentially. So the next thing I'm going to do is display to the console this string literal plus mySpliterator and the invoke its estimate size method. All right, so let's go ahead and come over here to the spliterator class here. So it has a lot of stuff in here, you know, it talks about, you know, parallel processing and computation and stuff like that. And we're not really concerned about that. That's what I was saying. I'll go over this in a future tutorial when we're kind of up to that point there. But let's come down to its method summary. So I'm going to invoke the estimate size, which will tell it how many elements are in there, right? And on that, the estimate size is 51. Of course, and that's true because 0 and 100 inclusive is a total of 51. So just got a little comment in here. You know, watch my ArrayList forEach tutorial for a detailed explanation on how consumer. Jesus, wow. All right, consumer functional interface works, right? A little typo there. I'll fix that. So basically on this next statement here, I'm just setting up a consumer of type integer. C is my reference variable, and here's my lambda expression right there. And I won't go into details on this because that is actually in the forEach method there. I'm basically using the exact same thing there, right? But basically to the right of the lambda operator, we're just going to simply be iterating through the mySpliterator object and displaying, you know, what current value of each element there, right? And so mySpliterator.forEachRemaining, right? And then we're passing in the consumer object there. And let's go over to the documentation here real quick for that. forEachRemaining, right? You can see it's got consumer. Don't worry about you know, with this generic syntax here, the chevrons, you know, and then basically unknown super T and then action, right? But we're just creating a consumer functional interface statement there. And then when we run that. So basically, as you can see, does the exact same thing as the forEach. So basically it iterates through that, and that's the iterator portion of spliterator, right? And then so basically we're iterating through that using the forEachRemaining, seeing all the elements contained in the mySpliterator the object that mySpliterator is pointing to. Okay. So basically the only difference between that is we could split the initial array up into multiple various different spliterator objects, right? We could do a try-split on this, right? And I could split it up to another one there, you know, and so on and so forth there. But anyway, without going into, you know, too much confusing stuff there, I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. So let's go ahead and minimize this. And I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of that and just leave you guys with some quick final thoughts here. Let's get that off screen there. Okay, so basically, you know, I really honestly imagine you may never have a need to use the spliterator method, but I figured I'd go ahead and at least make this tutorial so you have an idea of what purpose it serves and kind of how it works. So anyway, that concludes this tutorial. Thanks for watching.